Clash. We are back. Gender Clash, not Gender Clash. Hope you...
Gender.
Yeah, gender. It's the Gender Clash. So, obviously, you found us, if you're listening, but you can find us on a lot of different places. We're on YouTube, although it's not real videos, but we're going to get there. Videos are coming soon. We're going to get there,
guys. We are going to get there.
We are on a new site now. Our last episode, we had a guest.
We did.
We're hoping to have another guest in this one. I got a buddy of mine who's ready to call in. He didn't seem super enthusiastic, so we'll see if he actually calls in or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, he was like, well, if you had a guest already, I'm good. I'm like, no, separate episode. We're good. So we'll see.
He's
not on yet.
His name.
It's all right. Georgie.
All right.
Okay. Georgie.
And then, come on.
And this new site we're on allows for live streaming to Facebook. So we and YouTube. We could do both. So the YouTube video, the YouTube. So we could stream video. So check us out on Spotify, on Apple, on Google, on TuneIn, on our website at Babe. You want to say it so I don't mess it up because I couldn't even say it the right way the last time.
GenderClashPodcast.com.
There you go. So let's get started with a good one that we were discussing the topics just a minute ago. And you were like, yes, that's a good one. So women, when they go to a guy to complain about something, they're just venting. They're not looking for advice. They're not looking for a solution. And men are the opposite. They only go when they want a solution. And even to take that further, when the woman comes to them and is just venting, the guy's always trying to just solve it. So you were very excited about this subject. So go for it. You can lead us off.
Okay. So I think I've mentioned this in the past, but
you think, huh?
The book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus was a huge turning point in my life. And once I read that book, I wish somebody would have told me to read it, I don't know, 20 years ago.
But then you wouldn't be with me.
I know. So everything happens for a reason. But that book was so eye-opening because before I read that book, and I can probably speak for a lot of women think that men think like us. And my biggest thing was I wouldn't have done that, so why did he do that? Ladies, let me give you a little I don't know, tip here. Ladies, men don't think like we do. They truly don't have the capability of thinking the way we do. And this topic was an entire chapter of we just want to be heard. We just want a safe place to vent and to whine. Because women, listen, I'm a whiner, I'm a nagger. And as we are just whiners and naggers, we just want to be heard, we just want to vent, and we just want it to be a safe place to do that. Men feel like if we are venting at them, they need to give us advice. And half the time, we don't even want to hear what they have to say about what we should have done or said no, just listen to us. We don't want to hear what you have to say to fix the problem. We just want to bitch. We're catty. We just want to be like, can you believe that so-and-so did this or said this? And we just want you just to zip it, listen. And then if we come out and ask you, do you think I should have said something differently? Then you put your 2 cents. But otherwise, just shut up. Don't say anything. Just listen to us. And I didn't know that men had that need to fix everything. Like they're fixers. Like they need to make everything better. Like they have that need to feel wanted and feel purposeful. We don't want that from you. We just want you to hear us out.
Well, it's hard. It's hard because you come to us with a problem that we can see a solution to, even if it's wrong. We see what the solution is. A lot of the time, the solution is if you just freaking open your mouth, you can solve the problem. And guys don't ever have to go whine and bitch to their friends just to listen because we solve the problem. We're like, okay, well, if this is what's bothering me, I'm going to go tell the guy. We're gonna hash it out. So we feel like we have to do the same for you. Give you that advice. Tell you what you should say, how you handle it, whatever. And I do that for you all the time. I know a lot of times you are asking me. Other times,
no,
but
babe,
I've learned to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, you have gotten so much better where you just let me just blah blah, blah. And it's probably like Charlie Brown for you. Wah 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 wah. And I just need somebody just to be present while I bitch.
It's not easy. It's not easy because I don't know if you're looking for something. It's not easy to just say, okay, and walk out of the room. It feels unfinished. It feels unfinished like that. It just feels very weird. It feels like if I did that, then you'd be like, you're not listening to me. You didn't say a single word. It's like you can't win, although not you, but I'm saying I could see how it could be like that. The guy is told, keep your mouth shut, don't say anything. He looks at you, walks away, doesn't say anything. And you're like, you didn't listen to me.
No, but you like engage or like you give me advice or you'll be like, well, you can do this. Like just this evening, like I was telling you about an incident and you gave me like some sort of solution to it. You're like, oh, well, you can do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I feel like you've truly mastered or learned how to listen.
When to figure out when you want it and when you don't.
When to figure out how to give me advice and how to not give me advice. But I never, it's so true. Like, we just need to be heard without getting any advice. Because women most times think that we're right and we did things perfectly.
No, I have never.
I know. But
you also don't believe that someone could think a different way than you do. Not you, but women in general. Like, God forbid something could be different than the way I see it. It's impossible. No chance.
Right. So it was a whole chapter on how men feel this need to fix everything for us, and we're just like, we just need to vent. And when men come and talk to us, it's because they're looking for a resolution at that moment, and we're like, but what did I do? Like, I'm perfect. Like what are you talking about? What? So that was a whole chapter. So I'm just saying is that, guys, we just need to be heard. We just need to be supported. You may not agree with what we're saying or how we reacted to a certain situation. Just support us. Just hear us out. We don't need to know what you would do.
Here's a good question, and I'm not attributing it to us, so don't take it that way. But when does it get to a point where it's just constant negative energy and it's not like you're just venting? When does it get to the point where the guy's like, oh my God, all she does is complain. I have to I can't listen. And then we tune you out, and then 2 weeks later you're yelling at us because we didn't hear what you had to say. I told you this? I'm like, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, but it's just...
Oh, so is that what's going on, babe?
Sometimes, sometimes when I tell you, babe, take it easy, don't go whatever, it's because it's like a constant negative energy where you're just like, you get into a mode where it's like, and I'm just... But I've learned in the early days, I would fight with you because I thought you were yelling at me, right? I have learned that when you get like that, you're not yelling at me. But that took me taking it personally and figuring out now. But eventually you tell me, I'm not looking, I just need to listen. Like a few weeks ago, I was like, blah, blah, blah. And you said, fine, I'll just vent to my sister. I'm like, okay, I'm always here. I listen to you vent all the time. Now you're going to give me the fine, I'll vent to my sister thing. I'm like, I get it. But at some point, and I know you, so it's okay. But at some point, that constant stream of complaining and bitching about something becomes the negative energy part where it's all negative stuff. It's no longer a give and take. It's no longer, okay, I'm going to vent about this and then we're going to smile and laugh about things. It's like boom, boom, boom. You need what you need and that's that.
Yeah, but I just feel like I can just come to you with anything because I can't go to one friend about something because I don't want them to think badly about the other person that I'm venting about, right? So it just becomes like, it's like, you know everything and anything. So I can just come to you because you're going to stay neutral. Like, you're going to be one of those people that you're just very neutral. You always find the good in something. You always give me great advice. And I just want you to just listen to me. Just listen.
Right.
You just
listen. I do most of the time.
No. You are wonderful at that. You are. But yeah, I no. Like, we don't need a resolution. We just need to be heard.
Well, there are times where you may not know you need a resolution, but the resolution sometimes is staring you right in the face, and it's so simple. like me, and I'm sure a lot of other guys are like, I can't believe that you don't see how easy this is to solve. You won't even have that issue anymore. That's where men being like, women can be very direct about some things. Men will solve their issues, get them out of the way. If it's like, I don't want to sit and stew on things. I don't want to go and complain to my friends about something bad. I don't want to have things twirling around in my head all the time. I want it done. So if I have a problem with something, I go talk to somebody about it. I get it out. Every one of my close friends that I've had at some point told to go fuck themselves in a serious way, not joking. Like just about every single one of them, at some point, we've told each other to go. Oh, I cursed. I'm sorry. We've told each other to go F ourselves in a serious way. Like, fine, you can go scratch your ass. Goodbye, But you come back around and you're fine again. And very rarely is there that whole, I'm going to get on the phone. And that's the other thing. Women will get on the phone and talk about this stuff 30 different times. Right?
Do you get over it, though? Because girls will hold grudges for months or years.
No, we talked about that. I know you're still upset. Not you. Women are still upset about the 16, like the Sweet 16 they get invited to. I know. I get it.
No, like, I've gotten into fights with my most dearest friends, and we don't talk for months or years.
A couple of my friends, it's a couple of days and we're okay. You just let it go. Others, whatever, maybe a month or two. I remember one time I got into a like something, I forget exactly what it led to, but I said something and it was taken the wrong way, and it was like whatever, and I was just like, I'm done with this, and I stopped emailing on the panel for a couple of months, and then my buddies were like, just come back, whatever, and I got back on and everything was fine after that. We were fine, but I don't want to sit and let things stew. I can't do that, especially if it's someone I care about and I'm friends with.
Depends on what it's about, though, because if you feel totally wronged or betrayed, that's really hard to come back from, unless the person acknowledges it and apologizes for it. But if the person's not going to say, I'm sorry.
Well, see, that's a whole other thing.
You can go fry potatoes.
That's a whole other thing. Most of my close, especially my male friends, wouldn't do something to betray me. We've gotten to a point where we don't do those things, and I don't know if that means women's friends will betray them or women just take it that way. Women take things so personally that it's hard. Like, I don't take things personally the same way you do. I'll hear you tell me about what goes on with acquaintances, good friends, whatever, and I'm like, I just don't see why that's that big a deal. And you'll know when I get angry and I'm like, that's bull, because I'll be like, wait a second, that is crap. That should not be that way.
Because I feel like we're more emotional beings as females, and you guys are just very surface. Like, you guys aren't emotional. You guys are just very matter of fact.
Well, we are very emotional.
We're just very emotional. No, I don't think that you're emotional to that point, though.
Well, see, but the men will show anger as their emotion. So when a man gets hurt, it comes out as anger. When a man gets angry, it comes out as anger. When a man gets, confused, It comes out as anger. So men will yell at another guy. Will when we were younger, we'd get into fist fights, but that's what men do. They get fight. Women will just either clam up and never talk to the person again, or they just freaking blow up and, or they start a whole gossip circle and go talk about the person with everybody they can find, whatever. Guys don't do that. Of course, everybody does that a little bit, but guys, most of this stuff manifests itself as some kind of anger, and we get it out. Right. And when you let anger out, you feel better most of the time.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I don't think people can. I think personally, some people just can't take my anger, or they can't take me telling them the truth, or I don't know.
Well, I mean, listen, I more than just about anybody, I know what you're like with that stuff. So I had to get past realizing that you weren't yelling at me when something was bothering you. I had to just get past the fact that when things frustrate you, to just let you yell about it and you'll be fine in 2 minutes. Because it took a while, because I remember the first few times I'd be like, what the hell? And we'd get into fights because I thought you were yelling at me. Then I realized eventually that it was almost like a switch went off. You would be rah, and then 2 minutes later you're like, okay, so I'm like, all right, well, now I'm used to that. I realize that you just need to get it out, which is good. You get it out, you're not as frustrated about it. So right. So I don't know how other people take it, but if you're talking about women, they're going to take that poorly. Women don't like to be yelled at. They take it personally, and it turns into a big whole fracas. And if a woman's yelling at another woman out of frustration, even if it's not about her, They're just gonna go and they're gonna say, okay, great. And instead of saying, go F yourself, don't talk to me like that, they say, okay, well, you go do whatever. They hang up and they're gonna pick up the phone and say, do you believe what that bitch just did to me? Can you believe she has the nerve? Right.
I don't do, I am so not a gossiper about that stuff anymore. I'm just over that stuff. If I have an issue with somebody, I will come to you and talk about it. And then it stays within me and you. Or there's just time where I don't even talk about it. There's so many things that I've been upset about that I'm just you know what, I'm just going to just let it go. I don't even need, because there's, I don't know, there's certain things that you don't want to, that I don't want to share with you because I don't want you to have a negative attitude against that person. But you were so good. You're so good about not holding things against, you don't judge.
I can be very judgy, but I don't like to judge without hearing both sides. And I can't always hear both sides. So I always try and look for a reason someone would do that, because there's a naive part of me that can't believe someone could be such a bad person. I always try to look for a reason that they're not. Now, a lot of the times I can be right. Other times I'm wrong. A person really just is a bad person. But I will never judge a person as a terrible person unless they really prove that they are. And I'm usually not going to take that based on someone saying something to me, because
even me?
Even you
won't believe me?
Well, I will believe what you think. But it's not always the same. And you and me have had this conversation. There are times where you'll take something one way and I'm like, I don't think so. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not, but there's always the 50-50 chance, you know what I mean? And you just never know. A lot of times I've seen you take someone said and take it super personally, and I'm like, I don't take it that way at all. I don't see it that way. So if you want to say I'm not judging them, that's fine, but I don't necessarily see things the way you do.
Yeah, well, babe, listen. You are my sound of reason. I've said that plenty of times. Yeah. I can come to you and be like, "Listen, this is what happened," and you're like, "Well," and you're it's a safe zone. I don't ever have to worry about being judged.
Nope.
You probably judge me on in your brain.
It depends what you mean by judge. I mean, if you think I look at it and say, well, this is why she's doing that and she's probably wrong, then yeah, that's judging. But I don't say, oh my God, she's such an idiot. I don't do that. I mean,
right.
No.
Right.
I couldn't marry someone I would say is an idiot just because I look at them like an idiot. I wouldn't marry you.
Right. All
right, babe, why do women get upset when another girl wears the same outfit as them? Well, God forbid you go out and she's wearing the same shirt, or you won't buy the same shirt, or you can't have the same outfit. Why? I know you.
I told you.
I told you
when you even presented this topic. I am not that person. I mean,
ladies, why
I guess that at a wedding. If we're wearing the same dress, that's big, because at a wedding,
okay,
that's a big event.
Why. Because men have 5 different suits. If a guy's wearing the same suit as me, I don't give a crap.
Because 10 guys could be wearing the same suit and nobody would notice unless you have the same tie, the same shirt, the same shoes. A suit is a suit.
And even then we wouldn't notice. Are you kidding?
No, you would notice the same tie.
Maybe the same tie, but the same.
Okay. All right. So your tie is my dress.
Tie, but the tie is it's. But
the tie is the highlight of the suit.
But I would notice. I wouldn't be like, that's it. I gotta change my tie. I can't believe that jerk off is wearing the same tie as me.
You mean to tell me that if we were at a wedding and you saw a girl wearing the same dress that I was wearing, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, babe, that girl has the same dress you have
Absolutely not. If anything,
you wouldn't notice it or say something about it. I might notice it,
and I would look to see and make sure you looked better in it. No, I'm kidding. I would not care one bit. I would notice that, say, hey, look, that dress looks like yours. But more often than not, you'd be like, babe, the strap is different and the hem is a little different. It's not the same dress.
No, see,
and
I'm not that person, because the way that I look at it, and I'm just not that, I'm not competitive like that. I would be like, oh, she has great taste, or oh, look at that, we have the same taste. And I would go up to her and be like, look, oh, girl, look at you, blah, blah. And I would take pictures. I would make fun of it. I would not be even remotely upset that somebody had the same dress that I had.
Oh, we got a guest. Georgie!
Oh, wait a minute. We can't see him.
That's okay. If you want, It's up to you. But we're not recording video, so. All right.
I want to see you, Georgie.
So, babe, finish your thought, and then we gotta guess.
So I would not be remotely even I would not be upset at all.
There he is.
Hello. And the only time that I feel that a woman would be upset is like if they're like a famous person like on the red carpet. But that wouldn't even happen because they have designers that pick their dresses. So I don't get that whole thing. I just don't get it.
Well, I was going to say this is an absolutely perfect segue into I was going to bring out a honeymooners scene. We were talking. My question was, why do women get so upset when if their friends wearing the same outfit as them? And we went back and forth a little. Maritza doesn't get upset, and it reminded me of the honeymooners episode with Judge whatever his name was. I forgot his name. And the two girls had the same dress on, and they all upset, crying, and they left the room. And the men are like, "What is the problem?" And at the end of the episode, they had the same jacket, and Ralph goes, "I am not leaving this house until he takes that jacket off." And it's just funny. It's like, honeymoon is probably a freaking a whole freaking minefield of freaking subjects for this. But why do women get upset about that stuff? And Georgie, you coming on now is perfect because the honeymooners, man, that's our thing.
I don't get upset about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Rob, but the honeymooners was 1950-something. I would like to think that in 2022, if Norma showed up with the same blouse as somebody, she wouldn't care.
No, women get upset about shit like that.
Is Norma by you?
Yes, Norma could hear everything.
Ask her if she would get upset if she was at a wedding and a woman had the same dress she had on.
Yeah, but you can't do anything about the wedding. What about if you and your friend are both going out and you're wearing the same shirt? One of them's somebody's going to insist the other one changes it.
Hold on a second, I can't hear her.
Oh, I would.
What's that, babe? Would you get upset? You can't hear what we're talking about?
No, because I think you have your headphones. Your headphones. She can't hear anything.
No, she should be listening to your podcast. Oh, you're pre-recording.
Yes, we're pre-recorded. Yes.
You want to come over here a second, babe?
So for people who don't know, Georgie, my best boy, is my boy. He is very interesting guy, and we want him on the podcast.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about all of Rob's friends, but Georgie is my absolute favorite.
Georgie is also a very engaging guy, and we'll add a lot to the episode. He is, and he's modest. So.
I love him.
I love
him. I love him.
Rob was talking about, babe, an episode of The Honeymooners from 1955. I can't emphasize that enough because we've made so much progress, and Rob's trying to bring us back. But Alice and Trixie came down for a big ceremony and both had the same dress on. Would that bother you? No.
See?
I know my wife, if somebody showed up at a wedding or an event with the same blouse or the same dress, she wouldn't care.
Me neither. All right, Norma. Good.
Yeah, she hears you.
Yeah. Right. See?
She agrees.
I don't care. Okay. I feel like it's a compliment. Like, we both have the same taste, but there are women that are very competitive, or like they want to be the star of the show or the star of the night. Oh my gosh, she's taken away like my. Listen, that's just all nonsense. It's all nonsense.
Yeah, so
I'm not.
Let's not get off track on the whole gender clash thing. I get it, but you can't compare this subject, Robbo, now to 50 years ago.
No. I literally only brought the honeymooners up when you came on because the discussion reminded me of it.
All right, because I'm thinking to myself, back when the honeymooners were on, the chance for them to go out with their husbands and dress up didn't happen as often as it does now, right? So I could see a woman being upset about that if once a month or once every 3 or 4 months, they got to go out with another couple and her girlfriend showed up in the same dress. That's a big deal. But now, I don't think it's that big a deal.
I don't know. All right. Well,
I don't know.
Fine. I guess not.
I mean, yeah.
What can I do?
Okay, what other stuff are you guys talking about?
We talked about how women just want to vent. They don't want the guy to solve their problem for them. They just want to vent and have the guy listen to them and not necessarily find a solution. Whereas the dude's like, just freaking do this and you'll be fine. And they don't want to hear that. They just want to vent. They want to complain. And it ends up with women being sensitive, and I forgot what else we talked about, but whatever. Don't matter.
No, yeah. And I was saying that is very true. Like sometimes we just need to be heard and not be given advice or be judged about how we feel at the moment. Like we just want to be heard. That's it.
How are we supposed to determine the subtleties of that?
You just got to know that if Norma's coming to you to vent about something, just hear her out. She doesn't need advice on it. Unless she says, babe, what would you do? And then you give her advice. But if she's not asking about your opinion on things, just let her speak and vent.
Babe, is that true?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
See?
There you go. All right. Well,
I don't know. Sometimes I can't speak for you, Robbo, but I have trouble, distinguishing between the subtleties of, are you asking me to solve your problem or just telling me about it?
right. Well, I don't have a problem deciphering because generally she's very direct and will say, hey, what would you do? Or, tell me what this person, whatever. My thing is I find it impossible to believe that I can't offer a solution. So I want to offer one. Like a lot of the times, that's one of the things that we've talked about was a lot of the times a woman will be very sensitive about a subject, and instead of going to their friend and saying, hey, go screw yourself, this is bothering me, they'll just hang up and call someone else and complain about it and turn it into a whole gossip thing. They won't ever address the problem when, to us, you look at it. And I told her that at some point in our lives, every one of my close friends has in a very serious way said, go screw yourself. Like we've fought. We've had these things. We always come back to each other. Women are not capable of doing that. But at the end of the day, a guy, and I'm sure the same thing with a woman, but you look at a woman talking about something that seems like a simple solution, it's nature to want to say, hey, just do this and you'll be fine. Just go to the person and say this, you'll be fine. They're not looking for that. They're looking to just literally vent. And if you're not going to vent to you, they're going to pick up the phone and call their friends. And this is the other thing I started to say, and then we went off in a different direction. Women, and I've seen this a number of times, not just one or two, women will tell the same exact story to 20 different friends on 20 different phone calls. It's not like they make a group chat and tell them the story. So there's times a man has to listen to that story his time, her friend's time, her mother's time, and 6 other people. You're hearing the same exact story over and over again. It's like, why don't you just get on a goddamn group chat and talk about it? Jesus.
No, because they're like I can't speak to my sister the way that I would speak to one of my girlfriends.
Why not?
That's right.
Because I first of all, I can't throw F-bombs at my sister.
Well, you could. She's just not going to handle it well.
Right. So when I speak to my sister about something, and now recently I've just been like, oh, sorry, I just cursed, and whatever.
She grabs her drink and says, don't worry about it.
Right.
I'm just
curse
kidding.
in Spanish.
That's an inside joke.
Spanish.
English.
Oh no! Sometimes she'll curse at the dog in Spanish, but yeah.
Oh me, yeah. There are certain things that I'll say in Spanish, but there's certain friends that I could speak to freely and say certain things, and there's others that I have to watch how I talk with them. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's different.
When you ask me to come on, Robbo, and you ask me to participate in stuff like this, you have to get full-fledged 100% Georgie, right?
That's what we want.
And that's and I have to just give my honest opinions.
Please.
As out there as they seem. But I also think that when you have a discussion about so imagine this podcast with you and Maddie in your 20s, and Norma and I are in our 20s, and we're discussing this. It's a whole different conversation than us being in our 50s, Mari in her 40s, and Rob, you in your 50s.
Close to 50, Georgie.
Right. So
it's fine.
So we come from a time when so the biggest challenge for me as a male, especially with 2 daughters and all credit to Norma, and previous relationships, and even my mom and my sister, and the upbringing I had. I grew up and we grew up, Rob, in a time where men solved women's problems. You know what I mean? A woman wouldn't talk and vent without the man saying, well, here's what you should do. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And sometimes he gave her a black eye to help solve the problem even further. Yeah.
But it's hard for me. It's hard. Norma's done a great job, but it's hard for me. And the girls are savages when they get me one-on-one or together about the fact that it's hard for me to sometimes get out of that mind frame of gender roles. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And I try and embrace the gender roles on this show, if only for the fact that it makes it interesting talk. But you're right, and that's exactly what I said, was that when she comes to me and vents about stuff, there, sometimes there's such an easy solution there, and it's hard not to say, hey, listen, just do this and you'll be fine, because
we're conditioned, right?
But that would also work for us. What would work with me and you and the Niv and Jamie is not necessarily something that will work with her and her friends. It's just the solution we would use, so you just never know. That's why men and women are so different.
I don't think women can tolerate friendships the way men run their inner circle friendships.
Oh, dude, and perfect example.
Brutal.
A buddy of mine is a
brutal.
Contractor. He's become a really good friend. He was a friend first, right? And a few weeks ago, like we have a crack in the wall, and kids were running around, and he's going to come fix it. So I text him, and said, hey, are you coming Monday? Because you said you'd be doing it on Monday in February. So he calls me. First thing he says is, he's like, Jesus Christ, first you didn't want me to fix it. Now you're breaking my balls to get over there. And I immediately start smiling. Her face is like, oh my God, he pissed him off. She's like, oh my God, what happened? I immediately start laughing and tell him to go screw himself. And we're totally fine. And we go talking in other directions. But the look on her face, hearing him call and yell at me, she was like, oh my God, what did we do? We angered the guy. But it was...
I was like, seriously? Like, do we have to start looking for another contractor?
Right.
What the hell?
Right. Marty, you should hear the conversations between me and Kenny.
I
my
don't
brother.
want to.
Oh, between you and your brother. Okay. Yeah. Listen, yeah.
Insanity.
I don't know. Like, listen, and I am probably as crude as they come in in a female version, and I would never survive. Because I would just tell you to go F yourselves and never talk to you again.
Right, you would get angry at
it.
Yes. Like guys, if a guy is talking to another guy and he's being polite, it usually means he's angry or doesn't like the guy. If he's cursing him out, he usually, 9% of the time, it means he likes the guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's like going back to grade school when you like a girl and you start pulling her hair.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
pretty much.
God, I don't get that.
Well, that's what guys do. The more we like each other, the more we insult each other. Right, Georgie? Georgie's got the offline.
He's listening to what Norma is saying, yeah?
He's got the offline audience participation. Dude, tell her to strap a mic on and let's go, man. Get her on.
So let me ask you this. Isn't it weird? Because Rob, when you and Marty were about to start this again, you asked for like kind of things to talk about and stuff like that. All we just talked about, and Norma, who was my salvation after Dina. You know that, Rob.
Yes.
So she took me from that broken person that I was and made me the man I am today. And but yet, with all the as brutal and honest as we are with each other on the panel with my brother, I never ever take it personally. I always know it's coming from a good place. But with Norma, sometimes I doubt it. Isn't that weird? Yeah. The person who I think has my best interests at heart more than anybody, and it hurts me more than somebody like you who's just equally as my best interests at heart says it. I'm like, you know what? Let me think about that.
Well, that goes right back to what Marty was just saying, is that they would never talk like that to somebody. They couldn't survive it, whatever way you want to put it. That's not how they do it. So if she is cursing you out and angry at you, she means it.
Not cursing me out, but more with like telling me what I need to hear, whether I want to hear it or not.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, a husband-wife thing is a little different. A lot of times your husband or your wife's telling you something you want to hear, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm usually telling you, or you're telling me, or any of us are doing it based on us bringing the issue to the person and looking for a sounding board and looking for input. It's not, I don't, I can handle all the constructive criticism in the world if I ask for it, or if it's done in the right way. If you're just coming at me and insulting me, I'm going to be offended.
It depends on the topic too.
I just think that coming from somebody, I don't know. That makes me wonder, is it a gender thing, or is it more the person who loves me the most is telling me what I don't want to hear and it hurts me?
I think it depends on the topic at hand.
Good.
I think it depends on things that whether you're overly sensitive about that or whether you're not overly sensitive about that specific topic. I think that's how that works.
And then you guys remember that, put it in the holster, and hold it for another time to pull it back out.
Yeah, no. Mental note. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. That leads into a subject that I had on here as one of the topics. Let me pull it up. Like, women hold on to things forever, and there's funny memes going around. Like, the first woman ever as an NFL official, it like came into the league a couple of years ago, and there's some memes going around joking around and saying woman throws a flag for something that happened 3 years ago. Just that's pretty funny. But one of the things I was reading, I tried to do some research for the show rather than just wing it. I tried to I tried to go like kind of seek out ways women and men look at things differently and come up. And one of the things that some guy had said, and people were like, "You are so spot on," is that we have different brains altogether, completely different, and men have like compartments where they do it. So the garage, you got to fix the garages over here. The ball game's over here. My wife is over here. The kids are over here. Money is over here. And if you're going to talk to me about a money problem, we're talking about the money problem. I'm not going to equate it to my kids. I'm not going to equate it to the garage. I'm not going to equate it to my wife, whatever. Whereas women, it's like a ball of wires where if you talk about money, it's going to be equated to the kids, to the wife, to the everything, and everything is always remembered because you have so many things going on. And funny thing is, Maritza will accuse me of having a big memory at one point, but no longer having a good memory, and it's because it depends on the subject, depends how it's brought up. It really does. So all of that, into a nice, neat ball. The women remember things because they tie so many things into so many other things. Whereas if you're talking to me about a car problem or a problem with what the contractor did, I am not wrapping those all up in all the other things. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And the list of comments was women were like, "That is it. You hit it on the head. My mind's constantly moving. It's always thinking about this. I'm thinking about 20 different things at the same time." And men are just like, all right, well, I have an itch here, and then I'm going to watch the ball game. And I'll worry about the broken car or the window pane tomorrow. I can't do anything about it at this moment. And that's, the brains are completely wired in different ways.
And I'm just going to say one thing about that topic, and I'll let Georgie speak. Men are very simple-minded, and that is it.
Are you calling us simpletons or simple-minded?
I'm calling you simple-minded, that you guys are just very simple. Like, you guys don't overthink things. You guys don't. You're just like, it's just like, you always accuse me of being black and white. You guys think black and white.
We do, yeah, we do. We think black and white. Women think in all different shades, but
right.
Then we're the opposite in other ways. So, and it's I don't know.
You guys are just too simple to, and I don't know, like your brain works so simple that you can only focus on one thing at a time, and nothing else comes into play, insult. And you don't know, and and I'm not saying because they're like, babe, like you're a very smart man, like you're not a simpleton, like you're very, very, very intelligent, but
Norma,
you just think simple with when it comes to a lot of things. Like you guys just can't think more than if we're talking about one thing, you're just going to think about that one thing.
That's
like
exactly
you're not going to.
What I said. Yep.
Right. So it's simple-minded. Like we can think about our brains are constantly working, and we're constantly thinking, and we're constantly putting this and that and this together, and it's just the way we think.
Let me read what the guy actually wrote so that we can discuss it. Okay, he said, "Why women and men think differently." This guy nails it. Okay, so it's a little bit long, so bear with me. Women are much more complicated than men. Men are very simple. It's exactly what you just said. And you know why?
Yes.
It's because their brains are so different. First, I want to start with men. Men's brains are very unique. Most women don't realize that whether we are having sex or watching sports, our brains are made up of little boxes. We've got a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. That's funny. Okay. We've got boxes everywhere, and the rule is the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, and we discuss only what is in that box, and then we close the box and put it away. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire, and everything is connected to everything. The money is connected to the car, and the car is connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything is all connected. It's like the internet superhighway, all of it driven by energy that we call emotion. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, and it burns in your memory, and you can remember it forever, the same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything, and she loves it. And then one final thing here. Now, men, we have a box in our brains that most women are not aware of. This box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. Forget that part. Women can't do it. Their mind has never stopped, and they don't understand the nothing box, and it drives them crazy because nothing drives a woman more crazy and makes them feel irritated than to watch a man do nothing. That, to me, was pretty spot on in a lot of ways. What do you think?
Who is that guy?
I don't know.
I mean, and what is he based that on? Opinion or research?
No. This is not a research thing at all. This is just like some guy on Pinterest or something, and people were commenting and saying that he nailed it and whatever else. But it's not a scientific thing. It is just apparently an observation, obviously, based on the humor. But take away the humor, take away the specific examples because you can't always be specific. But it sounds pretty true, no?
Yeah, it sounds true.
You don't seem convinced.
No?
Yeah.
He said it sounds true, but he doesn't sound convinced.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's definitely true.
Listen, men are so simple, and I didn't find this out up until, again, I am going to go back to Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that popular book, that cliche book, but it truly helped me understand how men think, why they react the way they do. Like, it just truly helped me understand that. And that is when I started to become, I read that book when I was, 43 maybe. And it was just like an aha moment. I was like, oh my God. Like it totally delved into how different men and women are, how they think, how they react to things, how they feel about things. And how we expect them to think the way we do, and they will never, ever, ever be capable of doing that. Not to say that it's a bad thing, because sometimes being that simple is very, very good, because then you don't have to walk around with these crazy emotions that we walk around with, and with these unnecessary.
I don't think I'd want that. So.
Right. So we are very emotional beings when it comes to everything in life. We are just very emotional about everything and anything. And it would be nice not to be that way sometimes. Like, it would be nice to live a very simple-minded life. Women are not capable of doing that. Like a man. I'm a simple-minded guy. Yeah. No, it's just we're just not capable of doing that. Like, we are not able to separate emotions with anything that we do, say, or think about.
Well, that pretty much sums up what that guy said. Pretty much, and you got a million things going on, and they're all connected, and they're all intertwined somehow. And whereas a dude's just like, hey,
super true. It's like simple. It's like black and white. All right,
you ever see those memes where the guy laying on his back facing the other way, and the girl's looking at him, and it's a million different ones, but it says, he's probably thinking about blah 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 another woman, and he's just like, what song is Metallica going to play tonight? That's right.
While like I'm having like a serious conversation with you, and you're thinking about putting a knish in the air fryer.
Oh, speaking of which, I might have to do that.
I know,
hungry.
you may have to do that.
I'm hungry. I didn't eat dinner.
No, I know, but this is how we think. Like this is.
You want to talk about how we think? You and me sacrificed dinner because we had to wait to feed the dog so we could do a podcast. We never even thought about ourselves.
I know. We would never even ate dinner. We had lunch pseudo together. Like we ordered lunch together.
Lunch, yes.
And you ate in your office, and I ate in the office upstairs, and that was it.
Yeah. And I guess we'll have a late dinner tonight.
Yeah. I say that we go Facebook video live next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we can have
we'll announce it.
Like interactions like in real time.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll announce it. We'll set a time, a specific time, and let them know and let them come on, and then we'll jump in. All right. Well, Gender Clash. Check us out on all the big podcast sites: Spotify, Apple, Tuned In, Google. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up to you next time.
Bye. Take care, everybody.